everybody, it's Chainsaw Reacts. I'm here continuing my journey going through all the Metallica albums and ranking all the songs in a tier list format, and I'm here today with Metallica's 1997 release, Reload. And Metallica has always stated that the songs on Reload were not the leftovers from the Load writing sessions. These songs were just finished second, because during the times after the Black Album was done and the huge tour was done, they were writing a ton of music, and the songs on Load were finished first, and the songs on Reload were finished second. So, essentially, it's a double album, kinda, in a sense. I mean, obviously, these songs are very similar in a way, and the sound quality and all that. So, in a sense, a double album, kinda. Regardless, let's get into it, let's dive in, and let's talk about these songs. I'm not sure why the person put the blue text for the titles of the songs, but regardless, we're going to get into it, and let's rank these songs in order. So, starting off with Fuel, a great opener in my opinion, and this might be blasphemy to some people, but I'm going A. I'm not going S tier. And the reason why is, I enjoy the track. It's a very fun, upbeat track, and I think it's a great opener for this album, for sure. But, I don't know, there's just certain things about it I just wish maybe was a little bit different, per se. Like, I wish the song was actually a little bit longer, to be honest with you. But I think it's a very upbeat, catchy song, and I think it, like, sets the tone for Reload, I think, very well. Because the next song definitely pulls it back in a sense in terms of, like, aggression and everything. But Fuel is a great start, and it's a song that will stand probably the test of time. People will probably say it's probably one of the better Metallica songs they've ever written. Probably not in the conversation of the best, but definitely one of the better tracks. Fuel, great freaking opener. And, yeah, love the lyrical content, and that riff is damn catchy, the main riff. The Memory Remains, we're going A tier once again. I love this song. I really do. I don't love it like an S tier track, but I think it's a great song to continue after Fuel, because Fuel punches you, gets right in. The Memory Remains, pull it back a little bit, right? And I also love, I forget her name, but I love her guest vocals on the song because it adds some variety to it, and I love how the song kind of transitions when her vocals come into the song as well. Very catchy track, really enjoy hearing it live when I do hear it in person, but yeah, pretty damn good stuff. Devil's Dance, once again, A tier. I love this underrated track. Love the bass opening. Dun 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 dun. Very catchy shit. And this is where I think really shows the highlighting of Jason, because as we know, there's not a lot of those through Jason's era, because of course, Injustice for All, that whole thing. So I love the fact that Jason's bass led this track, and it's a very groovy kind of dark track too. So we're seeing a good variation of tracks here with this album, where Fuel, aggression punching, Memory Remains, more of a catchy kind of track, makes more sense for the radio and everything, and I think it was a single at the time. And Devil's Dance, getting into more of that darker kind of S territory with kind of the feel of The God That Failed a little bit from the Black Album era. So I like the vibe of Devil's Dance. The Unforgiven II, S tier, no question. To me, it's my favorite Unforgiven from the three they've done. Obviously, the Unforgiven 3 is a whole different conversation. We'll get to that for Death Magnetic. But for me, when I think about the Unforgiven, the Unforgiven 2, the Unforgiven 2, no question, is my favorite one. I love the riff itself. I love the main riff that James plays. I love the Stratocaster riff where he has to bend the note and everything. I just love everything about this track. I love James's vocals, and I love the way it's kind of twisting the words, Aren't You Unforgiven 2? The chorus is amazing. Everything about the song is so freaking great. And I'm so happy they did this, because you know, there's a chance in the timeline of events they never do an Unforgiven 2, right? The Unforgiven already set in stone a certain kind of feel, and it really stands the test of time. And even at that time when that song came out, because when they wrote the Unforgiven 2, it was only a few years, you know, after the Unforgiven already set, you know, this kind of standard in terms of a ballad, in a sense, kind of track for Metallica, because it was very well known. People love that track. It's really interesting that they went the route of doing Unforgiven 2, because they could have easily not have done it, but for some reason they did. And I'm so glad they did, because it's honestly fantastic. Better Than You. We're going C. We're going C on Better Than You. There's a couple of times I've heard this song where I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, there's certain things I like about this. But it's not a song that I go to a lot. It's because it's a really weak track. And when I was thinking about this, I think I brought this up during the Load discussion we did the week prior, where I was discussing, like, potentially, because people have done this before, where they take Load and Reload and basically make one album from all the songs. Better Than You would not survive, for sure, in terms of selecting what songs would I put on a one-disc album where it's all the like where I'm comparing Load and Reload, the entirety of those albums, and picking songs to put on one album as a one release versus a double release they did. Better Than You would not survive. It's an okay track at best, but it wouldn't survive. Same thing with Slither. Same thing. We're going C on Slither. Like, to me, it's maybe even D. I mean, look, like, I'm sticking with C. Just like with Better Than You, Slither just doesn't have anything really memorable per se. Like, sure, there might be a time where I'm listening to the song and then a riff hits me a certain way or a certain thing that James does. Like, oh, but really the song isn't really standing out. Like, comparatively to the rest of the album, these two songs just don't really hit. They don't really stand out. They're just okay. And it makes me think they were just kind of like putting padding on the album. That's just my opinion. They may think, even though they've never played these songs live, they may think that at the time they made sense to be put on the record. But I really think they were padding a little bit. Because when you look at songs like The Unforgiven II, Fuel, Memory Remains, Devil Dance, these songs have a purpose and make sense to go on the album from my perspective. I'm only speaking for myself. I'm not speaking for everyone out there who's watching, because you may have a different opinion on, well, Better Than You and Slither are freaking great tracks. And if you think that, awesome. Love that. But for me, I don't see a reason why they're on the album. There's nothing memorable about them that stand out. Carpe Diem Baby. Honestly, it's kind of in the mix between B and A. Like, I honestly didn't really pay attention to this song really that much when I first really got into Reload and the Load albums. When I got to Carpe Diem Baby, I was like, I might stick with B. I might move that up. Honestly, it's a solid track. And they actually played it live a couple times. Surprisingly enough, I was shocked. The first time they played it live was at the 30th anniversary shows. Because I was never expecting any of these underrated tracks that never were played or songs that were just never played live during the release of the albums, Load and Reload, they would never get played live. And Carpe Diem Baby somehow brought out the 30th anniversary. No clue. But Carpe Diem Baby, it's a solid track. I like it. But I don't know. I might move it to A before we finish, but I've never really moved anything. Once I place it, it's set there. But we'll see at the end of the video. But I think it's a pretty solid track, and I love the actual verse riff itself. It's pretty cool. Learn to play it on guitar. Pretty cool shit. Bad Seed. We're going the same thing, B. I think it's kind of in that middle between B and C. Like, I like the main riff itself, but it's not a very memorable song when you look at the rest from A and S tier so far. And we got some other songs that definitely going to be putting up higher as well. But I like Bad Seed. It's a pretty decent track, but it's nothing like, what's an A tier here. I don't know. Just didn't really click. It's never really clicked like, oh yeah, this is a good song. It's like, okay, like, I'll let it play. If it's playing on like a playlist or whatever, if I'm listening to the entire album, I'll let of course all the songs play, but it's not a song that I'm going out of my way to listen to necessarily, but I won't turn it off if it's on. Where the Wild Things Are. I might go B as well. I might move it to A. Well, I think I'll go A, and I'll tell you why. I was surprised by this song, because when I first heard it for the first time in its entirety, I'm like, okay, I like certain elements, but I don't know, but it's grown on me over time. This song has grown on me, and I'm glad that it has, because the Load and Reload era of songs, at first, a lot of them didn't really interest me. Like, I wasn't interested at all. There was a certain few that I like, okay, that's cool, like Fuel, Memory Remains, looking like the Load era, where it's like, okay, well, 2x4 is decent, okay, but then you look at, like, Bleeding Me, Hero of the Day, like, oh, shit, that's cool. Where the Wild Things Are is one of those songs where I don't know how I feel about it. Like, there's certain parts I like, but it's grown on me because of just like, how they actually transition between certain parts, and how the song actually is kind of a weird kind of, I don't know, vibe to it. And I really like James's vocals a lot, and I think everything just kind of works for the song. I think it's a really decent track. It's very underrated, and I don't believe they've ever played it live. I don't think so. Maybe they have. I'd have to think, because they've done some acoustic shows, so I don't know if they've actually played it live. I don't think they have. But regardless, pretty solid track. Prince Charming. We're gonna go... I'll go B. There's certain parts of it that I really like. I think the verse sections are really cool. And the chorus is decent. I feel like it's too long. I feel like it's too long of a song, to be honest with you. But there are certain parts. And the soloing work at the end from Kirk, I think, is pretty cool, too. But I think they could have shortened this track a little bit, in my opinion. Because there's certain parts that work for me. Certain parts, they could change that, or they could just omit it entirely. Maybe it would make it a better listen. But, it's not a bad song, per se. It's not bad. Low Man's Lyric, I'll be honest with you, S tier. I love Low Man's Lyric. I love this song. Like, once again, it's just like Where Wild Things Are and a few other songs. I didn't really catch on to it, but then when I kept listening to it, I'm like, I love James' vocals. I love the riff. I love this kind of eerie feeling about it. And it's a very sad sounding song. And I think it just really clicked after a couple of listens. And when it clicked, it freaking hit. And I'm like, damn, this is good shit. And when they performed it live, after not performing it live for a very long time, back in 2024, during their kind of like charity kind of stream that's on YouTube, you can watch the entirety of it. Their performance is freaking fantastic, proving that this is a good fucking song. And I wish they would play it more. Obviously, it makes sense why they don't, because tonally wise, playing wise, it is a very different vibe from their sets that they perform at live shows. So it makes sense at certain special events, like when they do these charity shows and these acoustic shows or whatever. It makes sense to perform it there, and that's what, because they was during the acoustic set of that show. So it makes a whole lot of sense why it's performed there and not like on a live stage in front of like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80,000 people. Like, they play humongous stadiums now at this point. So yeah, makes sense. But I love Low Man's Lyric. I just love everything about that damn song. So freaking cool. Attitude, we're going C. Not a memorable track. The only thing that's memorable is Born in Attitude or whatever. Attitude, I see but the wheel, or whatever the fucking lyrics are. Like, that's the only thing that's really memorable about it, but everything else is just meh. It's okay. I mean, like, if it comes on, I'd listen to it, I guess, but I really have no desire to go out of my way to listen to Attitude off of Reload. It's okay at best. But I mean, I think it sees where it needs to sit, honestly. And no question, no competition, no question, Fixer's S tier. Like, to me, I think it's the best song. If I really had to be honest, the Unforgiven II and Fixer might be in my contention in terms of the best song off the album. Fixer is a phenomenal closer. And honestly, at times, I feel like it's a better closer than the Outlaw Torn off of Load. I've had that thought at times. I don't know where I really would sit. If you would ask me, what's the best closer off the two albums? Outlaw Torn off Load or Fixer on Reload? Certain days, I may say Fixer. Certain days, I might say the Outlaw Torn. Both songs close out their albums, respectively, very well. I love the kind of, it's not really upbeat, but the kind of tone they're sitting in and the vibe they're sitting in for Fixer. Love the riff, love James' vocals. I just love everything about this song. Everything freaking works here. And if every song had elements of Fixer or had that kind of feel of Fixer, all these songs would definitely go up in quality. Because for some reason, they really, at least for me, put a lot of effort into certain tracks, and then when you look at the bottom half, oh, things could have been changed, songs could have been omitted entirely, blah, 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 blah. But Fixer is a freaking no-brainer. It has to be S tier. It is a phenomenal track, and the fact that they've only performed it once is a travesty. It's a crime, but that's just me. But yeah, love the fucking track. It is so good, and I really hope at some point they pull it out again to attempt to play it live again. They probably won't. They probably won't. But it is a song that, to me, for me personally, if you're going to ask what's on the Mount Rushmore of Metallica songs, Fixer might be in the conversation. It may not be on the 4 best Metallica songs ever written, but I definitely think it's in the conversation in my personal opinion. I understand. Oh, but what about all these songs off of the 80s records? I understand. They're fucking fantastic. But you're talking to somebody who embraces most of Metallica's discography, but will admit there's faults in the process. Because if I was a Metallica shill, as people like to say sometimes, which is ridiculous, but regardless, I don't love every Metallica song. When we get to Saint Anger next, that's going to be a conversation. But if you ask me, what's in the conversation of the best 4 Metallica songs, like the Mount Rushmore Metallica? The Unforgiven II and Fixer are definitely in the conversation of the best Metallica songs ever written, in my opinion. I'm not saying they're going to make it up there. I'm just saying they're in the conversation. Definitely in the conversation. So, yeah. This was fun to do. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm curious to know where you guys would rank all of these songs. I'm curious to know how you would rank them, if they're similar to me, or if you have some songs that are upper in the A and S tier you would have lower. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd like to hear your thoughts. And, of course, I have the playlist of all of this journey so far. It's already in the description and everything. Make sure you guys go check out those other videos if you haven't seen them. Or if you haven't seen them in a bit, go check out and watch them again. Why not? But it's been fun to go on this journey. We have a few more albums to go through, so hope you guys are enjoying it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace out.